Last time we talked, we were in the middle of the pandemic. It was in March, I believe. How have you really moved the business during these times?
Great to be here again, Rish. It's been very, very busy, few months for us since March. I think, during February to about May timeframe, it's been slow, but things really picked up, starting in June in China. In fact, some people think that they call it the revenge investment. So now all of a sudden we're seeing a lot of excitement in healthcare, a lot of excitement in AI, SaaS, semiconductor, and so forth. We've actually just closed a $1.2 billion fund a couple of weeks ago, and this is the largest VC fund raised in China this year. And we've invested in about 60 new companies, and then on top of that, 80 plus of our companies have raised rounds. In fact, right now I'm dealing with 3 of our companies that are closing rounds, and all of them have at least 15 to 18 term sheets. So it's been a little bit, the market's been crazy because people have not really worked so much in the first couple of quarters. So and we're also expecting our 11th IPO tomorrow with Antengene. So it's a very, very busy year for us, all in all.
Well, absolutely, Nisa. And, you're looking at healthcare opportunities. Now, the thing is, everybody else seems to be doing that, and that's why valuations are really skyrocketing there. So where are you finding value, if at all, and what are you concentrating in within that space in particular?
It's really interesting because when we invest across the board from biotech, pharma to, new drug discovery, medtech, services, healthcare, IT, health, and so forth. But what's really interesting is when we invested in CanSino, it was the first company to list in first vaccine company to list in Hong Kong. When one of our portfolio companies, Venus MedTech, went out in Hong Kong, it was the first device companies to list in Hong Kong. In fact, after the IPO of Venus, the whole medical device sector has become really, really hot this year. So in fact, in the areas of heart valves, I think, we've seen about 20, 25 companies getting funded just in China alone. So, and I think, not sure about the competition and so forth, but of course, on the new drug discovery side, there's also a lot of excitement. But for us, I mean, because the valuation has grown so much, we would still stay away from the very expensive deals. And, historically, we've been investing 75% at least in Series A. And so we've, systematically been doing that same thing as well this year, and really stepping up on companies that we have a high conviction of. And so we've also participated in some of the pre-IPO deals that we have, spanning, across all these different sectors. We also see very exciting. I think, what's really interesting is last time we talked about how so many of our companies have been involved with COVID, treatment of COVID. And, just seeing how like about 60 of our companies have been involved with COVID, combating COVID, be it on the device side, be it on the services side, on the drug side. We also have a couple of companies that have developed monoclonal antibodies similar to Regeneron,
Nisa?
For the treatment. Yes.
So, Nisa, I mean, how much is the government helping you with regards to where you're investing? And they have all sorts of goals with regards to, targets for making the economy in China a high-tech one, ultimately. So give us a view of the sort of policies in place and the policies you'd like to see.
Well, I think that the government has really put in a lot of effort in giving government grants to quite a few of our companies, that look to apply. And I think that the companies, the policies are very important. They've actually made many policy changes to encourage innovation and tech. And then, of course, with the launch of Starboard, it also allows companies to raise more money through listing. And then, of course, with Hong Kong Exchange as well. So all those are very, very good signs for the Chinese companies. But of course, another thing is the Chinese market is a very big market for pharmaceutical. It's the second largest market in the world now, and it may, become the largest, given the population in a few years' time. So, what we've seen is the China. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, Nisa, it's Juliette in Singapore. Just wanted to get back to that and the huge market in China and what you were talking to there about the vaccine. Do you see China as essentially leading the race one day in this healthcare space? And on that vaccine, when do you see a broader distribution? Could it be the likes of mid-2021?
Well, it's interesting because, well, first of all, I think the co-development and co-collaboration between China and US is very important in biotech and healthcare across the board. We're still seeing quite a bit of that going on, and I think that will only benefit the humanity if we were to continue to do so. When it comes to vaccines, we see that the success of both Pfizer and Moderna reveal that, first of all, S protein as antigen works. Second is both the humoral and T-cell immunities are important for effective vaccines. So the CanSino vaccine is very similar to mRNA vaccines with different delivery mechanism. So it's viral vector versus lipid. So we're very hopeful, with the result, but we will wait for the interim result to come out. In the meantime, the companies in China are, very effectively building out the manufacturing capacity to meet the demands.
So apart from CanSino, let's talk about some of the other companies you like in the healthcare space. We do have a chart for our viewers as well showing just how strong you've seen the MSCI China healthcare sector perform this year as we start to see a lot of these therapies and treatments coming through. What other healthcare companies are you looking at?
Well, we've had, as I mentioned before, we've had 8 healthcare companies IPO already. 3 are actually trading at over 10 billion market cap, and the rest are trading at 1.5 to 7.5 billion. So we have, other companies that I would have. We're actually expecting another 20 to 25 healthcare IPOs coming out into the market from our portfolio in the next 24 months, and including Antengene, as I mentioned, tomorrow. We also have Jacob Bio, which is a very unique model for incubating a lot of drug discovery, innovative drug discovery programs from China. We also have another company called New Horizon that also just filed. And that is similar to the Exact Science. So they're going to be the first diagnostic 18A company to list in Hong Kong. Exact Science, it's an $18 billion company, and they are very much in the similar space where they're using the DNA testing to replace colonoscopy or to assist with the colonoscopy as a screening test. And they also just received the first cancer screening approval in China ever. So, but we're also expecting quite a few other device companies, drug discovery companies that are planning for IPO in the next 24 months out of our portfolio as well in Hong Kong as well as in Asia.